Hey, YouTube. Okay, I know it's dark and y'all can't see me, so I'm just going to give y'all some updates. As you can see, hey, one person, go ahead and enter the room. Enter it. Hit me. Give me a thumbs up. It's free. Don't cost you nothing. So I know you're not gonna see me because one, my light in my room is not. It's working, but I can't seem to turn it on. But anywho, hey, four people, go ahead and hit the thumbs up in the chat. Put the thumbs up. Y'all don't need to see me to participate. So y'all could just go ahead and listen. Who's in the room? Let me know so I could say hi. I don't like people coming in and not knowing who's in here, considering that I'm sitting here. So I know it's been a while since I've been on, and I know it's dark, but that's okay. For one thing, my I don't have the light on. So anywho, oops. Hope everybody's doing well this evening. Pre-Memorial Day, excuse me. So let's honor those fallen heroes who served our country. I would say Happy Memorial Day, but um, Memorial Day is more like a holiday for those who were lost in the war, never came home, and particularly those who served like Vietnam, lost soldiers, fallen heroes. So those who passed away or died in combat, we honor those who has fallen. So when someone sees a veteran, you don't say Happy Memorial Day because they are still here. That's why there's Veterans Day, Memorial Day, this month or this month here, um, Veterans Appreciation Month, and a whole lot of other um, holidays that's being honored. So Memorial Day is basically the kickoff of summer vacation. Majority of students, whether they be in elementary school, junior high, high school, college, they are out for the summer. And Memorial Day basically kicks off barbecue season, I guess you could say. People be, you know, but that's usually when Memorial Day, people tend to associate Memorial Day more so for barbecues and backyard barbecue. Hey, Charlie, where you been? I know. Come here, Charles. Say hello. I know you can't see Charlie. Come here. Come here. Uh-oh. Yeah. See? Hey, Charlie. Y'all hear him? He just came upstairs. Hey, Charlie boy. Uh-oh. Mm. Charlie. Charlie boy. I gave you food. I know I did. Anywho, go to bed. Go to bed and sleep. I know you've been sleeping all day, so go ahead. So anyway, so that's how it is. Mass Memorial Day. Time to honor those fallen soldiers. So, anyways, I'll be off. I don't go to work till Thursday, and this is my last week with Amazon because the following week on the 7th, I'll be going on my vacation finally. So, I will be going to visit my friend and her husband. They have a bed and breakfast or resort, hidden resort. It is outside of Tucson, Arizona. So I will take y'all there with me when I go on my trip. I'm gonna try to do a couple of live videos while I'm there. So it's a beautiful property based on what I saw on the website, but it's a beautiful resort. So I'm going there to visit, and I'll be leaving on the 7th, which is next week, Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. Whatever the day is, the 7th. So I'll be going on Southwest Airlines, and I'll be coming back on the 12th. So I'll be taking y'all there from the time I go on the airport all the way to Tucson, Arizona. And then from there, I'll take a Uber, which is a 50-minute ride from the airport. If I flew into Phoenix, it's 2 hours away, but I'm not renting a car because it's gonna. I'm really gonna just go there to the resort. But my friend will take me back to the airport when I come back home. So I will be on live a couple of times when I'm there, and then of course I'll take plenty of pictures and videos and relax. And when I come back, I'll give y'all the details of her resort. They have four casetas, I think she calls them, and each one has its own kitchenette, bedrooms, and four different rooms. So I'll show y'all. And then of course there's the main house. That's where she lives. So that's something I'm looking forward to. You know, this is one of 3 trips that I'll be going to this year. Um, the other trips I'll be going to, one is going to be a cruise on Royal Caribbean from my vouchers that I got from TurboTax with the Spotlight rewards. Rather than me spending all that money on food and foolishness, I decided to go on a cruise. So I have $900 worth of vouchers to do Royal Caribbean. I haven't made no reservations yet. So, but I will be going on a cruise. I may go a little bit after the summer. And then the third trip will be from the hotel vouchers for 3 days, 2 nights. When I donated to Toyota, I got a voucher. Now I could sell that voucher if I wasn't planning on using it, but I plan on using it because I want to go to the beach or maybe go to Florida, or maybe South Carolina to Myrtle Beach or somewhere like that and go on a hotel for 3 days, 2 nights. Or I could also use it for the 3 days, 2 nights for free and use it. So it's supposed to be any hotels. I don't know which line it is. I have to look at it again. I know it's not like the Marriott or nothing like that, but it ain't one of those. Um, it is a very nice choices of hotels I get to go to. So, but I'll let y'all know about the cruise and this other trip later on. I know I'm just going to make it sometime a little bit after the summer, and then the other one will be. I may do that cruise right around my birthday because it'll be probably cheaper. It won't be a whole lot of people during the summertime because I don't like crowds. I want to be able to, in Royal Caribbean, it's not really children friendly. I don't mind going on the cruise ship with kids. It's not that. It's just that I want to go more and have more of an adult fun and not a bunch of kids running around and, you know, take over excursions and trips. It's different if I was going with kids, but since I'm going by myself or if anyone wants to come, I want more of an adult, mature um, people to cruise with and have fun, not feel that, everything is centered towards kids and, there's nothing wrong with that, but no, I don't want to do that. So anyhow, hey, one person, I don't know why y'all not coming on speaking. I know I put the comments on, but anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe. I would appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I haven't been taking YouTube seriously, but I see more and more videos, more and more people, content creators who are serious about their YouTube channel is really making some bank, making money from it. Some people have two, three, four channels, and there's been a lot of things going on with YouTube because I haven't got a lot of notifications from some of your channels who's have a YouTube channel. Um, I've been watching the same people, but most of the people I've been watching were the ones who it's this guy named Kevin, Kevin. He, allegedly this person named Dan. Occasionally I watch Erica Williams, um, Classy Climb. But all these people, and most definitely I was watching the Dave Ramsey channel or Ramsey. So Clark Howard. So I've been watching a lot of videos that speaks about the recession in the economy. So because those are the type of videos that I'm watching, I'm getting a lot of videos gearing towards about money saving, how to, speaking about the economy, getting out of debt, um, the state of the economy, about how so many big tech companies and so many companies are laying people off, firing, and how to invest your money in this economic downturn. You know, some of them are speaking of doom and gloom, but they've been talking about we're in a recession, we're in a recession. They've been saying that for the last 3 years since COVID. And we are, and they just speak about like it's. I mean, I'm not saying the economy is I mean, it's not in collapse or anything else, but I've been hearing that same old story for the last 3 years. Now, me personally, I've always said, way before COVID ever happened, that we are in a cycle where things are going to slow down. Um, when interest rates, if you wanted to get a mortgage when interest rates was 2, 3, 4%, um, all the PPP money, the Ely grants, and all that money that was given out, I always said that there were some consequences of things like that to happen. But every month, when things come out, they always said that they were great job numbers in terms of um, unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is low, but yet at the same time, you hear about a lot of these tech companies and a lot of companies, not just tech, but a lot of companies laying people off. Um, or you hear the other side of it, silent resignation. People are quitting, or people are in the gig economy doing different gig work. So you can't really count those people in the numbers because they're not included in those unemployment numbers because a lot of people who working 1099, working side hustles, they're not counted in that number when it comes to the unemployment. And then the thing about inflation, in order for you to really, sometimes you have to work two jobs just to make ends meet. You know, sometimes some people have two jobs and doing the gig work in order to um, pay for the high cost of living, housing, whether you rent or get a mortgage. utilities going up the sky high. I know when I look at my budget every month, even though I pay extra, a little bit extra in my mortgage, and I pay a little bit extra to pay off my car note, you know, and then the price of food and groceries, something that used to cost $6 at say Chick-fil-A is now almost close to $9 for the same thing. That was $6, $7 at one point for a meal. And then it's like, prices, you know, your basic living expenses, price increases, or companies are not paying as much in terms of raises. So to me, you know, are we in a recession? Is the recession coming? Is it going to be this economic decline or collapse that most of these people on YouTube try to make it seem? I don't know. But I know one thing: if you look at your own personal finances and basic common sense, live below your means. Because I've been listening to Dave Ramsey show almost every day. Not almost, I do look at it every day. And whether you agree, no, he's not the only one to follow in regards to about personal finance, because his his thing never changed. You know, have an emergency fund. He ain't the only one who curated that. Um, People say, "Oh, buy a used car or buy a, a clunker." Go and buy a $5,000 vehicle. You can't even find no. I mean, I'm quite sure you could find a cheap vehicle here and there if you could find it. But let's get real. You have to really cut out a lot of the things unnecessary. Unnecessary. I know last month when I was looking through my account, and I was like, dang, I went over. I spent that much money that month, over 4,000 something dollars. At one point, my budget, prior to me even getting a new car or buying a car, you know, I used to have a monthly budget at one time when I used to didn't have no car note. Now my car note is not expensive. My car note is more like um what is it? I pay so much now. Three 349 a month or something like that. But it's like the terms are spread out, you know, 72 months. I'm not taking that long to pay off no car, no vehicle. So I paid from day one, I paid a little bit extra on my car note, and then I paid more. I pay almost 500 something a month, and that's not my car note. I pay 509 because my goal is to pay that thing off by next year. Sometime next year, I'll be finished paying it off. And I already had it for 2 years, going on 2 years now. Let me see. Was it 2 years now? Yep, 2 years. So I'm trying to pay that thing off as quickly as possible. I never kept no vehicle and paid out for the full, back when I had cars or vehicles previously, it was always like a um, 5 year term. Now they put it to, you know, what is it, 7? They try to do 7 years, I think, 72 months. What is that? They try to do a 6-year car note term. I'm like hell, 6 years, seven, sometimes seven or something ridiculous. Then they got this new thing. It's not new. Now they try to get people to buy a house, which I always said that this is not a time to really buy a house, in my opinion. But I don't I don't try to express too many opinions when it comes to that because hey, Bubble P, I never see your name, Bubble to Peas. Or what is it? Bubble to P. Oh, Bubble Top C. Well, thank you and welcome. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it. So, they want people to get a 40-year mortgage. I'm like, that's crazy. 40-year mortgage. And let me tell you, I pay extra on my mortgage every month to try to knock down the number of years on their mortgage. I said, I'm not doing no 30 years to pay no mortgage. I said, hell no. This will be my 14th year. What is 2009? This will be the fourth. I think this is the 14th year. 13, 14 years since I lived in this house. And I try to pay that off um, as quickly as I can. I don't, but it's true. The more that you could pay off on your debts, I don't carry no credit cards. If I be using a credit card, it's because one, I'm trying to look for my debit card. I know I have it somewhere in the car, but then I try to do real small, limited amount, and I pay it straight off. I'm like, nope, pay it off. Get these little points that I get. I get these little points or whatever, little cash back, and and I do little things with it. So I wouldn't worry too much about whether we're in a recession or not. The only thing that comes to being worried about being in a recession is when it comes to um, whether or not you have a job and you worried about your job security, and if you're one of those people who work at a company and you may lose your job and get fired. That's why you always have to That's why you have to have a backup plan. So that way, if you do lose your job, like the people who are in IT, some people may be in IT, they may get, they lose, they may get fired at Amazon or Facebook or Meta or one of these big companies. They say, okay, we gotta lay them off. They immediately will find something else. They'll find something else. Or the fact that if they was really good with them, if you're really good at saving and have an emergency fund or do some investments, or better yet, some people may take their skill set and be a consultant. There's always going to be a need for people in those technology jobs. It's just that you have to keep up with your skills. You have to always keep up, learn new skills. That's why in a couple of weeks, I'll be learning data analytics with correlation one when I had finished and passed the program for Salesforce. I still haven't found a position yet in Salesforce because I haven't really been updating my resume and working with the career coach, but I will be working with them again because I've been so focused on working at Amazon, which some of y'all may know I'm not really doing anything. And y'all, some of y'all may know that I'm still on accommodation with the workers' comp, and I still have to come to work. I may do something real menial or whatever, but I'm still, like I always said, I'm only at Amazon because one, of the health insurance, and two, being able to go to school for free, which is the career choice program. So I'll be doing a new program this year because I'll be there at Amazon 2 years come July. So my 2 year time is coming up. And I said, well, shoot, what do you think about that course, careers? You mean career choice? Well, career choice at Amazon, I like it. I mean, That's one of the best programs I feel they have. If you work at Amazon, you know, for them to let you go to school for free based on the programs they have. Let me see. I'm gonna look at the career choice. I'm gonna do a video about that and talk about it. But they're gonna be having a career fair on the 12th of June, something like that. I think it's the 12th. It might be the 12th or the 16th, but I think it's the 12th. It's on a Wednesday, and they're gonna have all these schools that's the career choice for people to learn about. But the program I'm doing is data analytics, which starts next week, Friday. It's going to be on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and it's the program is from 6 months. Is it 6 months? It ends in October, the end of October. I know that, but you'll be doing um, learning Python and all these different programs in data analytics. And there's a need for data analytics. So I'm still building up my resume. I'm still working towards trying to obtain another position or maybe stay in Amazon, but I haven't seen anything yet for Salesforce, But I'm gonna try to get my resume together so I could bring it and upload it on my profile on A to Z and update my profile because I don't have a resume updated on my profile, but um, I just need to. I just spoke to one of the managers yesterday to be exact about my status at this point, and I told him briefly that I told him about a brief thing about my experience, and I said, I'm too old to be lifting boxes and walking around, hurting my feet. I'm in no condition physically to be doing that type of work. So I said, shoo, put me behind the computer, put me behind the desk, because they have positions like that. You just have to ask people and put your name out there to do it. I said, I can't, I said, I'm sorry. I can't do that kind of lifting boxes and walking around with boxes. I can't do that. I said I didn't stay at Amazon as long as I did to be doing that. No, it may work for some people, but it can't work for me. And I said they offering all these programs and skills, you know, mechanical. You could go to truck driving school and you can learn and work with one of the partners. It's called Tom, and you could be like a dispatcher. They'll teach you how to drive a truck. You could get your license, your CDL license or whatever. I don't want to do that because I'm too old, and by me being diabetic, I don't think I will pass the physical because Department of the DOC, not DOC, yeah, DOT. That's what I meant. DOT, Department of Transportation. You have to be physically fit in order to drive trucks. Me being diabetic, I'll be a liability because if I'm driving a truck and something happens to me, So I know I'm being realistic, and I don't like to drive personally. I mean, I drive, but unless I'm the person sitting next to a driver, and I get to sit back and be a passenger, I'll do that. But in terms of physically driving, no. Or they have those electronic trucks, those self-driving trucks, and I'll be in there. But yeah, but it's that's just one thing you could do. The other things they have mechanical, if you want to fix stuff or whatever it is, they have technology. So it's a lot, but I'll do another video separate on that. That way I could tell y'all some of the things they got going on. But like I said, but in regards to recession, sometimes you may have to do little side gigs. My purpose of doing my side gigs, because I started doing on Walmart Spark again, but not on a regular basis. So, but this week I'm gonna be doing it more regularly so I can have me some spending money when I go on my vacation next week. When I go to Tucson, Arizona. And I think you know, it could help me build up, have some spending money, save up some money on, you know, expenses that I need to take care of, and a whole lot of things. Uh, Charlie, you just sit at that window and have fun. Okay, so yeah, that's how we have to deal with the economy. Is you have to work within your own budget. Work in your own budget. So, what else am I about to do? Well, of course, I am on furlough, I guess you could say, with TurboTax. So, sometime during the summer, they'll call they'll call people back for the October 18th deadline. But this year or this past tax season, it hasn't really been busy. I did have a new role as a team lead. It was all right, but you know, um, I just see the changes that's occurring. I think that a lot of these changes that's happening, especially when it comes to the economy, is because I think we're entering a new age, an age of AI, artificial intelligence, and it's affecting every industry, everything in people's lives. No longer will it be, and I think that's what we're seeing. And all these things that's going on with the banks shutdowns and all these other stuff, that's not new. That ain't new. The last economic downturn, 2008, 2009, I remember I had an account with Washington Mutual, and I used to deposit things like cash. And I said, why is it taking all day to deposit my money and I'm depositing cash? And it used to take forever. And I said, something ain't right. And then Washington Mutual, of course, they collapsed and got bought out by eventually. I want to say that it is when all the changes happen, or when all things are said and done. I want to say that eventually it went to Wells Fargo or something like that. But that's not new with these banks collapsing and all these changes with these banks. Bigger banks bought out more smaller banks because First Union, shoot, their name been changed so many times. And I think eventually they became Bank of America, or it got bought up by Bank of America or something like that. I remember I had an account with ING. They used to pay a high interest rate, almost 5%. And then ING, which, when it's all said and done, is Capital One. You know, the only thing I could see being different is the real estate. Real estate. It's not enough. It's not enough houses. Not enough inventory, and the prices is not going to be no collapse. I could tell you that it ain't going. It ain't suddenly things are just going to suddenly collapse. Now, some places may slow down, but in terms of pricing going down, nope, I don't think so. I don't think so. So for those who's thinking about waiting until the market goes down, to buy a house, you're going to be waiting a long time for that to happen. And personally, in my opinion, yeah, it's good to have a house, have your own, and not pay high rent and all that stuff. But most of the time, people paying these high rents is because it's being bought out by big companies. They're the ones buying these houses, and I refuse to sell my house. When it's time for me to sell this house, and I want to move on, I want to make sure that I sell this house that's not going towards some company. I'm not going to do that. That's one thing I'm not going to do. I'm not going to get into sell to a company because I know I'll get cheated. I made my money worth, even if I would choose to move in within a year. If I say I was going to move within a year and sell this house, I'm not selling it to a company that wants to buy and give me 20, $40,000 less. Even if I don't fix this house up or whatever, they're not gonna cheat me. That's for sure. But it all depends where you go. It all depends um places you go. So there's a lot of but real estate is still a good investment. I make some investments in real estate. I'm not gonna tell y'all personally, but I've made some investments and even like $100 a month, and I've been doing it. I think this is maybe a little bit over a year now. I've seen some increases in my investments with that. I did it through Fundrise, So there's a good thing. Hey, three of y'all. It's only two thumbs ups. Come on now, give me another thumbs up, and please like, comment, and subscribe. I would appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so please let me get to 1,000 subscribers. It would be nice. But other than that, if anybody been following up on the news, yesterday they did pass the debt ceiling. They extended it for 2 years, so it hasn't been signed by Biden. But based on what I was reading, it's just going to be a lot of major cuts. So the Republicans basically got their way with that debt ceiling. And as much as I was looking forward to those damn student loans to be forgiven up to $10,000 or $20,000, that's nothing. But some of these people around here, well, you're supposed to pay the student loans. That's not fair. But you know what? All those people who are yapping their damn mouth. Nope, I don't do ship. I haven't done ship, Instacart, probably 6 years, 7 years now. But I'll talk about that in another bit, Bubble, to see. I'm going to tell you, for those people who were so criticizing about, it wasn't like they were going to pay off, a lot of people's student loans, $10,000, $20,000. That ain't nothing. Now, if you owe $10,000 or $20,000 in student loans, that would have been good for those who had something, $3, $4, $5,000 less. If they had $4,000 in student loans, it'll be good for those people who may have had student loans. They would have been wiped out. But shoot. But for those who had six figures in student loans and been paying student loans for 10, 15 years and all that, and then that's a slap in the face. Cause I dare for somebody. I wish one day I do get on that Dave Ramsey show, because I would like to know. I would surely like to know, what about the big banks who got bailed out? Banks got bailed out twice. No, more than twice. I was waiting for the student loan forgiveness too. Hey, Jay Durham. Yeah, every dollar helps. That would have helped a lot of people. Whether it be $10,000, $20,000, that would have helped some. Because number one, let me give you my reasons why. One, at one point you could deduct the student loan interest from your taxes. So with all the money you pay, if you pay your student loans as best you can, you only pay an interest. But that used to be a deductible on the taxes before they changed it, um, 3, 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. So now you pay student loan interest. You was only able to deduct $2,500 of student loan interest off your taxes at one time. But nobody said nothing about Congress, the presidents, all these years. They never said nothing. Nobody sued businesses when they got their debts forgiven, when they bailed out these banks year after year after year, president after president after president. They bailed out the big banks. They bailed out Wall Street during the last economic collapse. They bailed out those crooks on Wall Street who stole. None of them went to prison. Bailed them out. Forgave all those banks who stole that money. Exactly. Who's going to bail us out? So all the people talk about, I didn't go to college. Why should they get their student loans forgiven? Ain't nobody told them to go to an expensive school. Ain't nobody tell them to do that. I paid. Then you hear some other people. I paid my student loans off. Niggas, y'all didn't know, dumb crackers. Y'all ain't never went to nobody's college. Talking about they did this. They didn't do shit. What about when you filed for bankruptcy? Before they changed the bankruptcy laws, used people, you ran the debt up, buying furniture, stuff, cheap stuff that ain't got no value. But then one point you could claim bankruptcy, wait 7 years, and then you could start all over. Or better yet, you know, they had their debts wiped out. At one point, student loans, you was able to file bankruptcy with student loans at one point. It was one point in time back in I want to say it was the 80s, maybe around the 90s, before they changed the whole bankruptcy laws and all that stuff. At one point, if your whole debts could have been wiped out through bankruptcy, including student loans at one time. But when they changed the laws, they said, boop, nope. So all those people who had bought houses and bought real estate and borrowed money, talking about you could get a line of credit and get a 6 figures in line of credit, and you could start off a fake LLC, and you could and people borrow millions and millions, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and turned around, file bankruptcy, and get their whole thing wiped out. You could buy cars. You could buy cars. Um, maybe houses. Put it under your business name. Put it under the LLC. Separate your personal expenses, and file bankruptcy, and you still driving around in the stuff. So don't tell. So nobody dare not tell me, because somebody, I used to watch his Pocket Watcher, on one of his channels. I used to watch him a lot, but after that, he was too condescending and too rude. And he knows me. He's like, Lady T, yeah, how you doing, this and that. And then, I was on his show, and he was giving the argument about student loans. Why should it be forgiven? Why should they loan? Ain't nobody say forgive and wipe out the whole entire loan. Yeah, if you owe $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, yeah, that would have been wiped out. But how much money you actually paid throughout the years? Hey, Colas. I know it's in the dark. I'm not showing my face because my light. I can't turn on this damn light because I have to get this light fixture switch fixed or figure out how to do it myself. So I can't turn on the light. So when people argue about the student loans, and they not. It looks like they may not forgive it. They not, but back to what I was saying. They did pass the debt ceiling Saturday. The president has to sign it by the 5th, and basically the compromise was, and this is just three things I thought that I read. I don't know. I have to, when it's signed and official, I could read it. But one of the things was not passing that big budget they gave to the IRS to hire more agents to do the audits and jobs, because they are hiring again for the position that I used to do. They are hiring. So you go usajobs.gov. It's for contact representative. So that budget they set for the IRS, they not plan on giving that budget that they thought it was going to do. The second thing was, I want to say it does have something to do with those student loans. No, well, no. I don't know. I have to see, but it's a lot. But the other thing was Social Security. There may not be any type of increase of Social Security. And the third thing, which I don't understand, is that SNAP, the food stamps program. So they're going to limit who could be on food stamps, how many times you could apply for food stamps, and also the amount of money they're going to give people for food stamps. I know that. So it's going to be a lot of things, but it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt more of regular people. It's going to really hurt. So it's going to be a lot of social programs that people were so used to that they're not going to be doing anymore. Housing, food, and transportation. So there's a lot of programs they were, a lot of monies they were giving to people, just to be giving it. They're not doing it. So for all those people who were so used to criticizing about some damn student loans and why why should someone get, I just think that, Biden, you made a promise about, I'm going to do something to forgive student loans, $10,000, $20,000 if you had a Pell Grant, but yet all you paying is interest towards your student loans forever. And then on Dave Ramsey, even though I like listening to some of the things, people who were debt free, and listening to their stories of how they did the gig hustles, hearing people say that they was doing Uber Eats and food deliveries, and how they was doing that, plus they had a regular job, and how they saved up money to pay the debts. That was really what, and ordinary people, those are the ones that I like to listen to. The ones who were, they may have a job paying $40,000 when they said they were doing Uber or Uber Eats or Grubhub and those gig work, Instacart and, whatever, and listening to them, how they paid off debts, working a regular job and doing the gig work. That was the ones that were expiring, because it gives you that hope that all along, when I did these gig work jobs, Instacart and all those ship and all these gig work I was doing in the past, working at Domino's and everything else, it was able to, for me to really use that to stay afloat, paying my bills. When I didn't have a regular job, I did those gig work because I said, me by myself with no help. I didn't have roommates. I didn't have people to help. If anything, people always come to ask me for help. But then, what happened? What happened with that? I get screwed over. I help people out, letting them stay here. I ain't no place to stay, and I let them stay, and then and you can't even get basic help from anyone. Some people now a couple of people I let them stay. They may help a little bit, but it just comes to prove sometimes. You know, sometimes when you did these gig work, I never, you never see me make no. The only time people watch my videos and my subscriber count grew and increased was because maybe when I made the videos, I was really kind of speaking it from a personal side and the foolishness that I dealt with and how I talk about the tax implications here and there in my stories when I was doing the gig work. But I was never the one to flash and say, "Oh, look, y'all, I made $5,000 in 1 week doing the gig work." Some people watch some people channels and their channel blew up because some people exaggerated about making, you know, maybe they didn't. Maybe in the beginning they made 2, 3 thousand a week, but look at it when that happened back in 2016, 17, when there was a lot of people that was making some money, but the rates were not cut like it was. So once that thing is signed in terms of what the debt spending limit, so you don't have to worry for the next 2 years. We don't have to come across this scenario about the debt ceiling and is it going to be increased? Is it going to be extended? Only thing that's going to come up with that is that in the next 2 years, you know, next year is election. You have to choose a new president. DeSantis is going to be running for governor. People are trying to say he's racist. Hey man, all these presidents were racist, all of them. Maybe except for Obama, but some people ain't going to agree with me with that. Well, he had black, or whatever the case may be. Now, I'm not saying President Obama was the best president of all that we ever had, but he, because they kept him handcuffed on doing a lot of things. And there were some things that I didn't agree with what he did either. He wasn't perfect, but it was good that it was real inspiring to have a black president because it was something, that never happened before. And he couldn't really pull everyone together because they didn't want it. They didn't want him to do what he had to do. That's what it was. That just shows the fabric of this nation. It's still focused on racist ideologies and bring up this divide, and they want him to do nothing. And then they bring Trump along. Y'all fool. Some people say I wish Trump was in office versus Biden because at least I know this would have been done. Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't think Biden, I know he a racist and he appointing all these black women into key positions and all that stuff. He doing that guilt. When your dumbass is almost close to the grave and close to dying, trust me, your heart will start to, when you start getting closer to Jesus and you can find the most racist of persons. If they God-fearing people, if they really God-fearing people, trust me, all that stuff they was doing in the past, they'll start to realize. But Biden was the biggest damn racist ever. And I saw videos of him in the 70s when he was saying the N word. His actions were more egregious, and he was in Congress. And he was carrying it on like that. I saw the video. He done a lot of harm for black folks or minorities, people of color. He did a lot of harm. a lot. So trust me, I'm not that big of a fan of Biden either. Trust and believe I'm not. But if I had to sit there and if I had to sit there and vote, you have to choose the two of two evils. You want Trump? Oh, Biden. I voted for Biden because I was against Trump. Not because I believed Biden was going to do anything. Hell fucking no, I know he wasn't going to do nothing. And the only reason why I didn't vote for Trump, not because, oh, he's a racist. I ain't voting for Trump because he's a racist. Man, all these damn presidents in our lifetime and in history were racist. Starting from George Washington all the way down. You go to each president, you go to all the presidents, you can put a big racist thing on there in their picture. Except for President Obama. And maybe Jimmy Carter. And I would say Abraham Lincoln, but I don't know too much about other than the fact that he said, oh, he signed the proclamation, blah, 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 this and that or whatever. But, I mean, at least he did something. I'm not a scholar of the presidents, but we don't know what he would have done if he wasn't killed. But according to history and what I've been watching, um, a lot of things for former slaves and the policies of what would have happened would not have been if he was alive. If he not alive, if he wasn't killed, maybe there would have been some type of change. But we don't know. And personally, I'm on the belief of people, particularly black folks. I can't speak for other races. I'm gonna speak for black people, my own people. Is that we need to start following what these other race and other ethnic groups do, rather than trying to integrate and seek acceptance from other people. We as black people need to stick together and stop not chopping, not knocking each other down, and over foolishness that we would get ourselves out of the situation that we enter. That's my opinion. But in terms of this recession and in terms of this economy, the only thing that's going to be able to fix, you have to fix your own house. I can't worry about what goes on in Washington. I can't worry about, oh, you could work as many job hustles you could do, which I'm planning on doing more and more. Save, do some investments. And try to work as much as I can. Because I'm curious to know what specifics is going to come out of this when they pass that thing on yesterday. But I know it's going to hurt a lot of people. A lot of people are going to be hurt. They don't pass the student loans, whatever. So be it, So be it. There's some other ways to go about it. I'll be 55 years old come November, and I'll be living half my life. More than half my life will be lived. If I lived to be 80, if I lived to be what Tina Turner passed away at 83 years old. If I passed away at 83 years old, let's say I passed at 83. I have lived most of my life that I have was available or coming up. Will I live to be 100? I don't know. I have a strong genes in my family. My grandmother would be 95 years old this year. I think she's more like 96, but they really, but she'll be 95. My great grandmother, I was still a young adult. She lived to be 100. Unfortunately, my grandfather, my father, they didn't live as long, but the number of years that I have left, I'm going to live life to the fullest. I can't worry about things that I cannot change. We just can't. All I could do is try to make sure I take care of myself as best I can, try to control my diabetes. I don't want to live. I don't want to live past 71. What? Why? Jay Durham, how old are you? Well, you know what? I may not know when my time will come. I don't know when it will happen. I just know that we're entering a new era of artificial intelligence. You're 50. Okay. Well, that means you lived most of your life too. Not most. I would say half your life. If you live to be 100, you would say you lived half your life. But if you live to be 90 something, I don't know. It depends. It just all depends. I'm not afraid to die with it. I'm not afraid to die. I might be afraid of how I pass more so than if I pass, because not no if, because we all have a time expiration on ourselves. Most people don't, it's the unknown that people kind of like don't really know. We don't really know. I mean, I'm grateful, and some things I may feel sad about at times. I'm more sad about not ever having children and not able to bear children. I was a little bit, I was getting a little bit sad about that, because who would think that after years would pass by, I was always grinding, I was always doing this and always doing that. It didn't say I didn't want any children. It's the fact that I don't like how people come about asking me, you didn't want no, you got kids now, you didn't want no kids. Don't ask me that damn question. If I said no, I don't have any children, don't ask the question. I don't know. I hate when people do that. If they don't know me, if you don't know me, don't ask no question. Don't ask nobody that question. Cause like I told someone before, I said most of y'all have kids is by accident. Some of y'all didn't even plan to have kids. My baby daddy, you just opened up your legs, spread your legs wide open, and got pregnant, and they didn't plan on having a child. So when people say something like that, some people, the only thing is they may not have done certain things, but then people have a child. It may be cute at first. Oh, look at the cute baby. Oh, the cute baby. And then when that child, they didn't plan on having no children. And then they have kids. And then then you struggling and don't even provide for the child in an adequate way. So don't get me to say something, because a whole lot of people gonna be mad at me or call me bitch or whatever. But you know what? They know it's true. They know it's true. I'll never forget, my mother told me, you have a child, if you have a child one time, you know, It may be a mistake, but then you have a second, third, fourth child, but all these different men. No. When I speak to people, especially the ones at work, when I speak to people and they got a child, ain't none of them married. Some people ain't, have another child. They say, well, the baby daddy, he in jail. And he got another baby daddy. Then he asks them how you met, how they met, and all that stuff. Man, please. Better get the hell on out of my face. People having a bunch of kids, people having kids. And, they had no intentions on having no children. Only reason you got a child because that damn rat busted. Or you let some dumbass nigga bust a nut in you and then you got pregnant and then, shit. That's the only reason why most of these women, if you and they have these badass kids running the streets, acting like a damn fool, acting like a bunch of wild hyenas, running the streets, terrorizing people and doing all kinds of crazy bull crap. I've been watching a couple of videos. They show a whole bunch of these kids jumping on cars and buses and busting in people's cars, assaulting people. I was like, where the hell are these damn parents at? These 14, 15, 16-year-old running the streets. See, people, they be cute about a baby. Oh, they so cute. Ooh, they cute. When the baby born, oh, they cute. And they dress them up like they're mini-me. After a while, the cuteness wears off. That cuteness starts to wear off. And they realize that ain't cute. You know how many people I speak to? Girl, you ain't want no kids. You glad you ain't got no kids. Because you got, it's not, they not complaining about the responsibility. It's like they know they can't handle it. Girl, you ain't want no kids. I'm glad you ain't had no kids because they didn't realize. See, when that baby born, is all cute baby, they like, oh, look at the baby. You wait till that child get about 5, 6 years old. All of a sudden, things change. I notice a difference between people who got kids just out to have kids and the ones who got married and have children together. Now, I'm not talking about throughout the years later they divorce. I'm talking about when you actually married, reared a child together, and you come from a healthy relationship, how happy and how things are easier. How things are easier. Reason why these badass kids running around now because they don't have I don't care. Anybody want to debate about this one day? Maybe I need to do a separate video and make a separate video, not live, and speak about that. But there's a big difference. And I'm not talking about it has to be a 2-parent household. It has to be a healthy harmony where people work together for it to be successful. Now, if you have 2 families, two parent household, and it's toxic, no, they don't need to be together either. They don't need to stay in the house, but they still need to have access, to the child and say, okay, you know what? You could be effective co-parents. But if you're not willing to be effective co-parents, even if you decide not to go that route, but just to randomly have a baby, and then that person and that man run away, or don't want no responsibilities in it, then you have to deal with the consequences. You have to deal with the consequences. And let me tell you, and I hate to say this, because when I watch these new YouTube videos and they have reports, somebody threw the baby in the lake in Florida, killed the baby, and then killed the mother of the child or do something crazy, it's because 99% of the time, I bet you that woman I don't even know what the word to use. Pestered that man or want to be in that child and pester that man to be in the lives of the child or to stay with them if they didn't want to stay in the relationship. If they didn't want to be there, let them go. Let them go. Let them go. If they didn't want to be there and you tell them and they say, oh, I'm not the baby daddy, I'm not the child or whatever, okay, fine. You didn't want to take responsibility. At least they know. They didn't want to be there. Okay, move on. I'm not gonna run nobody down for no child support. I'm not gonna run down somebody to take claim of the baby. No, they didn't want to be there. And I think a lot of these, I wonder, a lot of these people who kill children, I always wonder why did they do that? Why? They don't want the child. Give the child for adoption. I'll be glad to adopt the child. I would have been glad to say, you know what? You don't want that child? Give me the baby. I'll take care of that child. I would love that child as my own. People ask me all the time. They was like, "You ever thought about adopting?" And I didn't strongly consider it. I didn't say I don't want to. I do not want to adopt. I would love to adopt, but I want to make sure that I'm ready, where I'm able to provide, where I'm able to say, you know what, I don't want to struggle. It's just like me taking care of Charlie. Hey, Charlie, the cat, or taking care of a pet. They just like children, you know. Hey, wait a minute. Are you asking me, what do you want, Charles? Come here, Charlie. You know, if I said, I'm financially well off, not rich or millions or worth whatever, but if I say, you know what, I have the time, I have the love. I mean, I do have the love, but do I have the time? Do I have the financial resources? And say, you know what, to take care of a child. And I say, okay, you know what, I know I could work, you know, have to spend quality time with a child. That is what's important. That's what's important. And I can't stand when I watch these videos of these girls, they be wanting to punish the father of the children. I don't want you with my child, and they want to be with the child. They want to see the child. Y'all broke up. If he don't want to be with you, okay, fine. Be civil. You can't force no one in this, and it goes both ways. You can't make nobody stay with you and act a fool. Somebody told me they were going to pick up their food at Burger King one day. Somebody was at the Memorial Drive at the Burger King. I said, "Oh hell no! I know you didn't go over there to get no food." And then here they come acting a damn fool. The girl came to the person's job at the Burger King, yelling and screaming at him, and she just wanted her food and move on. You ain't called, so she because he didn't call her. She can go to his job. He work at Burger King. Now you know for someone to go work at Burger King and probably have another job, and you sit up in there, man, bitch, move on. Give yourself some dignity. Who wants to be with somebody who go to somebody's job, acting a fool, acting all crazy? For what? Why? I'm gonna tell y'all some stories that have been going on at Amazon. Well, there have been some crazy stories that I've been hearing. People, this person dating this person all over the work, all over the job. One person went, so I can't wait to tell y'all the stories. But it's just foolishness, I tell you, foolishness. All right, I know it's only two of y'all left. You'll probably enjoy the stories. But anywho, no major things going on other than next week I'll be on my vacation. I'll show y'all the live stream from the time I leave and from the time I get there and show y'all. the resort that I'm going to, that's owned by my friend and her husband, and show y'all the pictures and show y'all some live scenes while I'm there. All right, so happy Memorial Day tomorrow. Let's honor those fallen heroes who died for our freedom. Don't make it exclusively about barbecuing and going to music festivals and everything else in the kickoff of summer. But let's really honor the holiday that it's meant to be. Memorial Day. Let's memorial memory of those fallen POWs who died in war for our freedom in our country. And then we'll go ahead and talk about what's going to happen and what the major changes is going to happening with this dang debt extensions that was passed yesterday, but it has to be signed by the president. But it ain't gonna look good in terms of the cuts that's gonna happen. But we wait for the details on that. And remember, work within your own budget. And I'll probably take y'all along tomorrow when I do. Oops, when I do Walmart Spark tomorrow. So y'all have a good night. Jay Durham, thank you for being here. I know you probably like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that, laughing. Good night to you too. Good night, Colas. Good night, Bubble C. Or let me look at this for sure. Bubble Top C. I don't know what that means, but thank y'all for subscribing. Like, comment, and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Let me get to 1,000 subscribers this year. Let me get there. So, hey, your pleasure. Give me a thumbs up. I'm about to end the video. So, talk to y'all tomorrow.